again. Welcome back again. Today's topic is going to be how to guarantee that you are in labor. That's a good one, right? Let's get started. I guess, yeah. Swam now with nobody, 'cause I don't wanna. Hi again, my name is Keisha. I am a birth and postpartum doula, childbirth educator, and also a mentor. Today's topic is going to be how to know when you are actually in labor. I think this question is very, very huge for so many people because so many people don't know when it starts or how it looks, especially if you've never given birth. So this is what this video is going to be for. Now, of course, you can ask questions below if you have any, but we're gonna talk about it, okay? So let's talk about labor in general. By this time, if you reach this video, you have a doula or you've taken some sort of childbirth education. If not, I would hope you are pursuing that, or you're in the process of doing that right now. Right now as you're watching this video, because both of those things are very, very important. But when we talk about how labor starts, there's so many different things that you want to consider. But the most important thing that I want to talk about is what your body is actually going through when labor actually starts. Now, before I jump into labor, I want to talk about prodromal labor, because prodromal labor is very, very tricky. Prodromal labor is very, very tricky. I'll do a full video on it. If you guys want it, just let me know, just comment below. But prodromal labor will have you thinking that you're actually in labor, but you're not actually in labor. It's like on, off, stop, start, just crazy. And sometimes they can be very painful, but there are ways to know that your body is actually in labor and the difference between it. So this is what the whole purpose of this video actually is. So number one way to know if you're actually in labor is if your water breaks. That's a big one. And of course, to get confirmation, you can go to your provider or you can go to your midwife. Those are the only ways that you'll be able to actually confirm if your water has broken. But rupture membrane is probably the biggest ways that you can know if you're actually in labor or not. Now, there only is a small percentage of people that labor breaks before contraction starts. I think it's under 10%. And then the remaining of people, your labor will break when you are actually in labor. So everybody is different. Everybody is different. But I want you to be extremely mindful of the fact that that could really mean that you are in labor if your water breaks, even if you are already in labor. Another thing I want to mention is the contractions. So with prodromal labor, your contractions are literally the same every single time. So every time you get it, literally the same, even if they're intense, they're the same, right? They're the same, they start off the same and they end the same, and they die off after an hour or two, or even after a few hours, because sometimes it can go on for a few hours as well. If you want to, I can do a whole nother video talking about why that could be as well, because there are reasons to why prodromal labor can be happening. So just let me know. I could do a whole nother video on that too. Let me know in the comments. But prodromal labor is very, very tricky, very, very tricky. But when your contractions start very I'm gonna say light cramps, but I know everybody is different. But typically early labor is diarrhea, it's light cramps. You may, be snacking, you may be eating, you may be doing things like that. You may even notice a little bit of bloody shoulder in early labor. You may even notice your mucus plug come out. There's so many different things that you may notice during early labor. So the biggest thing is for you to pay attention to the consistency and the intensity of the contraction, because early labor contractions are anywhere between 5 to 30 minutes, and active labor contractions are anywhere between, I would say anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes apart. It's between there, because sometimes it can be 4 minutes too. Your biggest thing, excuse me, your biggest thing is going to be the intensity of them. So early labor, you were handling it, you were walking around, you were talking, you were even talking with them, you were being goofy, ha 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 ha, la 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 la, all that good stuff, right? But then active labor, you're more uncomfortable. You are not speaking to your support team as much. You're and even in between, you're Like, please leave me alone. Because you're like, at that point, you just leave me alone. But those changes in those contractions can tell you what it actually, if it's actually labor or not. And you will know a difference from prodromal labor to actually being in labor. I say it to people all the time, and if you're watching this video and you've experienced prodromal labor and actually being in active labor, you know what I mean by that. Like, it's a difference, but you don't know it until it actually happens, but it's a difference. Of course, during active labor, you'll also, you may experience some bloody show too. So that's something, you want to think about as well, because you may experience bloody show. Another thing I want to mention with labor, you will notice pressure. Pressure will start to shift. That is the biggest one, because that is telling you where the baby actually is in the pelvis. So typically during early labor, that pressure may be just in the front, like right up under your abdomen. And then as labor continues, you'll start to feel vaginal pressure. You see what I'm saying? So it'll start, that baby is actually moving down. If you want, I could do a whole nother separate video on fetal station and the importance of that. As a doula, I do not care about dilation as much as I care about fetal station. I know your doctor checks your cervix. Also, you don't have to do that either, but in this side of one, your doctor checks your cervix at 36, 37 weeks, and they'll sit there and tell you like, oh my God, your cervix is 2 to 3 centimeters dilated, and there's so much excitement. None of that matters. That baby's probably still floating in your uterus. None of that matters. So as a doula, when I'm working with clients, my biggest thing is what station that baby is, because that's going to actually tell me what I need to do and how much we need to do to get that baby to move down. So that pressure is going to tell you the same thing. But like I said, if you want me to do a more detailed video, let me know, leave in the comments, and I will. That is the end of this video. That is how you can know when your body is actually in labor. I will say this, the most important thing is to make sure that you have a highly trained doula by your side. That's gonna make a world of a difference. Having somebody that understands what your body is going through is going to be so important. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on it. But that is the end of this video. I also want to mention that you guys can grab I'll put it on the screen, grab your Birth Undisturbed, how to have an undisturbed, unmedicated hospital birth. It is now available on Amazon. I will leave that link below. It includes everything you need to know about the stages of labor, pain management. It's also going to include questions to ask your provider, even questions to ask the doula that you are interested in hiring. And then towards the end, there is a cut and paste birth plan available as well. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Nobody did it over text, didn't call me. Still got love for your mommy. I know you wanna